Well, hello and welcome to another episode of this old lawn tractor, I guess. And today we got the Murray in the shop. You may have seen that one in a past YouTube video before. Murray's got some troubles right now. Murray's got a rusted out...
Has a rusted out deck. So right now the blade's wobbling, it's pushed up, it's off to one side. There's a few holes in the deck around it that I think have rusted through. So a little project I've been working on here is this lovely Scott's lawnmower here. I picked this up with not the original engine on it. This used to have, well, it had that hood on it, but it also had an 8 horse engine on it. This originally had a 17. We happen to have another lawnmower kicking around the back here that had this 18 horse twin. And this is kind of the project for the last couple weeks, just in the spare time. Getting this engine mounted up, I replaced all the belts and pulleys underneath. I guess I could show that. Nothing too exciting. It's a pretty clean mower, other than the engine wasn't the right one and it wasn't hooked up properly. And so this is our engine. So I've got rid of all the factory wiring, deleted most of the safety switches. And today's project is to just get the ignition hooked up, get the starter wire hooked up. And there's really only 3 wires to the engine: the ground, or the one that actually, the black one's the shut-off wire. And you've got AC and DC output from the engine. So 3-wire hookup, not so bad. You really only need 2 of those. You don't even, the AC one is only for running the headlights, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this purple wire goes back to the starter solenoid, so, which is at the back here actually. It's hidden under there. You can see the purple wire going right there. Solenoid. I'm going to put the battery here. I've got a new battery. And here's the model number. This is 1742S. That's usually the number this one's known by in the John Deere world. You can actually go to John Deere's website to look up parts diagrams for this still. The one part that's kind of come in handy for the engine anyway is my father, he's still got these kicking around, these old repair manuals for Briggs and Stratton engines, and this 422-707 in particular. And that's what this is. This is what is the full code? 422-707 1529-01. So things left to do: wire it up, run fuel lines, run exhaust. I'm just going to run this down to a 90. It'll come out like this, and then I've got a 45 I'm going to angle back and down that I think will come out about there. So, and I don't have mufflers yet, but I do have the pipes, so just got to find those. And these aren't the correct spark plugs in there. We're going to find some. I think it's RC12YCs going here, but we will find out. And then we will see what happens with this tractor. Hopefully we'll get it going. The only other problem I've had is this axle, this hub, I don't know, this steering piece here. It was actually seized. Very difficult to steer. So I've been soaking it in penetrating oil every few days and greased it, but it actually steers now. This was oops, very difficult to move before, but it's drivable now. The way it was before, you really had to use 2 hands on the wheel and really crank it over. So let's see if we can't get this one running today.
So for this mower, that's all it needs. I'm actually going to steal the seat off of this mower here. This seat works just fine. You know, it just needs a little wipe down. Not so bad. Got quite a bit hooked up right now. All the electrical work at the front of the tractor is done. So I've got the AC, voltage, DC that are provided by the engine, and then shut-off switch. I've got power to the solenoid. Got the fuel tank mounted up. You can see the fuel tank the fuel tank's a little bit tight in there, but there's room for a paper, so I think that'll do. Got all my wiring running here. I ran out of conduit, so I'm going to tape this up, but I was using little scraps of conduit that I find around here. But I'll go to my the headlights. If I want to pull the engine, I can just undo that one connector. Got a ground here. I'm also going to run a ground strap. I realize this is bolted straight to the frame, but I just want to run an extra ground strap just because I have one lying around for probably one of these bolts to, well, you know what, I might not even do that, but got the exhaust set up right now, and that's one of the mufflers that was on that 8 horse engine that was here before. I just need to get one more muffler, and then probably cut out the sides of the hood. The fuel line There's a new section of fuel line right here I got. I've just got to attach that to the old stuff. But right in here I want to put a filter and a shut-off valve, which I happen to have brand new. I bought a pack of them on eBay for $2. So we're going to get a fuel line hooked up. I'm going to put a battery in. The ignition switch is hooked up. I just got to screw all the cowling together. And I think we'll have ourselves a running lawnmower here in no time. And just to, well, it also needs oil, but I've got that sitting around here. What do we have? Oh, only the finest quality Super Tech lawnmower oil. I've got my favorite helper with me here today, Gentle Ben. Hi, Ben. Oh, nice stretch. Tractor's pretty much ready to go. Got the fuel tank mounted. Wiring is done. Ignition switch is hooked up. Throttle cable's hooked up. I used the throttle control and cable off of this engine, which was attached to the old mower. And it's a little tight in there, so I have to trim out the edge of the fuel tank, which is always fun. I think I've trimmed that as far as I want to go before I get into the kind of the danger zone of leakage. I'll set to do some clearancing around, not really fuel tanks, just this shroud piece. The fuel line, the fuel filter. That's in there. I was going to put a shut-off valve, but if I put a shut-off valve in, I might just put it up here. But let's get it running first. Let's do this. Oh, that's loose. That's probably going to leak. That's not really tight at all. Okay, so I'll put a proper hose clamp on that. But other than missing a muffler, missing some engine oil and a battery, I think we're ready for action here. So I'm going to put it on the ground, double check everything, and put some fuel, put some oil, a battery in, see what happens. Well, we're almost there. I just got to hook up this battery here and get this old girl going. But isn't that just my luck that it would start raining when I'm about to fire this thing up? Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But it's raining right now. So, that's got to be a good sign. So I got to find a little bit more oil. I don't know how much this thing holds, but 946 milliliters wasn't enough. So no fuel leaks, choke and throttle are free, brake and clutch seem to work okay. And that's my seat for now. Oh, and I got rid of the seat switch. It's not hooked up anyway. So, got me a positive, got me a negative, and I dropped this sucker. Oh my goodness. I'm not used to not wearing gloves. Getting dirty again. Ruh-roh. Okay. Fuel, check. Oil, check. Battery not connected yet. Pulled the plugs and just got it in neutral right now. What I think is neutral. Key is off. What I'm going to do is just hook up the battery right now, actually. Did it spark? Bad things happen? Oh, that's good. I'm going to hold this and turn the key and we're going to see what happens. And my goal is to get fuel into this filter. You can see the filter's looks like it's dry. I don't see any air bubbles at the top. This carburetor actually has, this is the fuel pump built in, and it uses vacuum off the crankcase right there to power it. So I'm just going to crank it over a few times with the plugs out and see what happens. It should crank over. It is in neutral and I can always disconnect the power if I need to. Oh, I've got a solenoid clicking. But no crank, so did I tighten the starter connections? Yes. Okay, just in case the engine wasn't grounded, I did add another ground cable to the body through a bolt. It's bolted underneath. Let's see what happens now. Okay, round two. All right, after some testing, I found we have a bad starter solenoid actually. So what I'm going to do is use this as my key, drop this across those two big terminals there, and we're going to see if it starts now. Okay, the key is on in the run position. We're going to start it out with this wrench, hopefully. Turning over. That's good. We'll just keep turning it over for a while until we get some fuel to that line. Full throttle just because. That sounds promising. So next step will be just to see if we have fuel in this. Oh, I think we did actually, didn't we? Normally there's like a big air pocket of air in there, but I can't really. Should have used dyed fuel. Make this a lot easier. Okay, we've got fuel. Full throttle, choke is on. This could get interesting. Wish me luck. Spark plugs are connected, ignition's on. Here we go. It's gonna get loud. Seems I've made a critical error at some point. This is the fuel line straight to the fuel tank, to the bottom of the tank. And right in the center of the picture there's actually the fuel pickup, so to speak, in the tank. So I can blow into this hose right now and it doesn't bubble out here. It should. So I think underneath the tank maybe I've got a pinched line or something. It moves. It's loose, but something ain't right. Well, I found my problem and it should be an easy fix. I don't know if you can see it in there, but maybe I'll just have to take my word for it. Oh, there you can see it, right in the center of the picture. I've pinched a fuel line. I'm going to give it a tug. And we'll be flowing fuel in no time. I better make sure to block this before I unfurl that line, because she's going to be pouring. Okay, round 4. This time we've got fuel in the line. We've got ignition by way of new key. Let's try this again. Throttle on, choke on, key on, starter, solenoids not working. All right, I'm gonna get ready to shut this off in case it goes sideways. Okay, so it's a little loud. Well, I'm pretty happy with that so far. No complaints there. The throttle is backwards, so when you push it forward, it is idle speed. So I was starting it at idle speed. So if it starts at idle, I'm pretty happy with that. It might be a bit rich, I don't know, but I think we got a happy little tractor here. It definitely needs that second muffler. That is now a priority because this thing is deafening. Good fun though. So I've actually got the starter solenoid on this thing is actually easy to get to. I might just rob this one. This one actually doesn't work. I've been jumping this one with a screwdriver for about a year now. So, but somewhere on the bench here, I've got a spare starter solenoid. We just got to find it. Well, Ben, was that good progress today? Good boy. It's very good progress, and step 1 is going to be to put a second muffler on it because this thing is just way too noisy. Step 2 is to put a good starter solenoid. It's a bit awkward to get to. It actually bolts on from underneath the frame. Thanks, John Deere. But generally speaking, I think we just need to bolt on a seat, finish rebuilding the deck, and we'll be in action. So anyway, thanks for watching, and tune in next time for another episode of This Old Lawnmower.